Hey everybody, this is Russell Brunson, and today we're talking about sales funnels tutorials for beginners. And to do that, I want to show you guys my very first sales funnel I built as a beginner. In fact, this is a picture of me here on the slide. This is me with my shaved head making a potato gun. This is one of the very first landing pages for howtomakeapotatogun.com. And there's a doodle of me shooting potato guns because I am a potato gun expert. But we're gonna talk about just the basic concepts behind a sales funnel, because I think at first people get all complicated, like, oh, it's gonna be really difficult, it's gonna be hard. But I want you to understand this is really, really simple. So here is an actual potato gun. I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, but we're gonna walk you guys through this. When I first created this with my buddy Nate Plone, I was going to college at the time. I was trying to figure out, like, how do I make money on the internet? And someone said, you should sell information products. I was like, that's awesome, but I don't know anything about anything. And then that weekend was spring break, and Nate and I went and we made potato guns. I had a great weekend. And then fast forward to like the next Monday, I'm back in school, sitting there kind of like doing the board school thing. And all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute, I know how to make a potato gun now. That's an information kind of create a product about that. And so I was freaking out. I went online, and at the time there's a website you could search to see how many people were searching for different keywords. And there were 18,000 people a month searching for the phrase how to make a potato gun, or potato gun plans, or spud gun plans, and nobody had a product. And I was like, light bulb, I'm gonna make a product teaching that. So I got Nate, we went down to Home Depot, we got a video camera out, we filmed this whole thing, and we made our very first product. And I put it online, and I didn't know how to sell anything, so I just had like a basic website. The website was like, hey, come and buy my thing. And then I went to this thing called Google. You guys may have heard of it before. And on Google, they have these things right here, and on the side, there were these ads. And so I would pay for the Google ad. Someone would click on the ad, they'd come over here, they would see this thing, and they'd be like, oh my gosh, I must buy this DVD so I can learn how to make a potato gun. And some of them would give me money. Initially, when we first started selling this, we were selling it for 37 bucks a piece. And so people would buy that. And that was my business. And I remember putting the ads up, and I was spending about 10 bucks a day. Let me do the math over here. So I was spending $10 a day in ads over here, and from that I was averaging about one sale a day. Okay, now as a college kid, I'm looking at this and I said, okay, I give Mr. Google 10 bucks, and then he gives me back 37. That means I got $27 to put in my pocket. Next day I gave Mr. Google 10 bucks, he gave me back 37, I put 27 in my pocket, I kept doing this, and I was like, I am the smartest man alive. And then something evil happened. The guys over at Google decided they wanted to make more money, and so they changed their algorithms. I'm not gonna get into that, but they changed their algorithm, and so no longer was it like, I spend $10 and I make 37. Instead, I started spending like my ad costs went up, so I started spending $50 a day to make one sale. Okay, now I'm not the sharpest tool in the toolbox, but I gave Google 50 bucks and they gave me back 37. And I was like, wait, I lost money. And then I gave them 50 and I lost 37. After 3 or 4 days, I'm like, wait a minute, this game sucks, I'm losing. And so I turned my ads off, I'm like, I can't play this game. And I remember being frustrated. And then one day I got a call from my friends. And my friends had a similar business to me. He said, hey Russell, I think I figured it out. I said, figured what out? He's like, I stopped. And he didn't call it the funnel. He's like, I created this thing called an upsell. He called it an OTO, one-time offer. He said, what I did is that every single person who bought my product, I then upsold them something else. And I was like, well, why would I do that? He's like, well, have you ever been to McDonald's before? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, you know, you go to McDonald's and you go through the drive-thru and you're like, hey, I want to order a Big Mac. And the dude's like, cool, do you want to supersize it? Do you want fries and Coke with that? And he starts offering you upsells. I'm like, yeah. He's like, if you look at the math, he's like, McDonald's actually loses money selling a Big Mac, but they make all their profit when someone buys the fries or the Coke. I was like, okay. He's like, right now, you're losing money selling your potato gun DVD. You just got to sell these guys fries and a Coke and you'll be profitable. And I was like, I still don't quite get it. He's like, if someone buys this, like, what's the next thing you can do? If you were trying to serve this person, like, what's the next thing you could serve them with? And I said, well, when someone buys the DVD, the most annoying thing is now they have to go to Home Depot and they have to buy the pipes and they have to cut them and like all this stuff to make this amazing gun. And he said, well, what if instead of you, telling them to go buy the stuff, what if you upsold them a kit that did this whole thing? I have no idea if this is gonna show up on the camera or not, but I thought it looked kind of cool. And so he started make an upsell where you sell them the kit. So here is the kit. So I did some math and I started calling around and I found these guys in Northern Idaho who actually made potato gun kits. And I would start selling these for 197 bucks. And now this became my very first funnel ever. I didn't know it was called a funnel at the time, but someone would come, they'd click on the ad, they would see my DVD, they would buy my DVD. On the next page, our upsell say, hey, your DVD's coming, do you want me to ship the pipes with you too, so save you some time? Just 197 bucks. People are like, that would be fantastic. And they click the button, they would buy it. Okay. Now what happened, if you look at the math, was interesting. So Google didn't change their ad costs. They still were charging me 50 bucks a day, right? So that didn't change. But they came here and I spent $37, so I lost some money. But then what happened is that 1 out of 3 people who bought the DVD would buy this, right? So let's say I got a bunch of clicks over here, boom. And so there's 3 people right here that bought the DVD. One of these people then would go and buy this. For every DVD I sold, so I make $37, 1/3 of those people bought this. So I take 197, I divide it by 3. If I do the math on that, that's 65 bucks. So if I take $65 plus $37, 7 plus 5 equals 12, 9, 10, 102. So now I was making $102 for every single person that bought the DVD. Does that make sense? Because 1 out of 3 bought the kit as well. Okay, so now I was on Google, I was paying 50 bucks a day in ads, but I was making on average $102 a day. I put $50 in, I got $102 back. Okay, and all of a sudden I started looking and I was like, I am the smartest man alive again. I spent $50, I get back $102. And so I was back in business, potato gun sales were cranking, I was having a good time, and then I realized, wait a minute, potato guns are good, but the market's like this little. Like, what other markets could I do this with? And I started thinking, I said, well, what if I did this in speed reading? I met a guy who was the world's fastest reader, Howard Berg. And so we set up a funnel for speed reading and it worked. And we said, what if we did this in the dating market? I found someone who's a dating expert. We plugged it in. What if we did this with supplements? What if we did, and we started doing this. And the funnels obviously tweak every single time, but the concepts are the same. And I became obsessed. And over the next 5 or 6 years, I launched over 100 different funnels in 100 different markets and became obsessed with it. And it became so much fun. But this concept of a funnel works in any business. And so what I wanted you guys to understand is this is how simple it really is. It's not some complicated thing. Sometimes we get all complicated. It's very simple. It's like we buy an ad to sell something. Somebody buys that thing. Then what's the next logical thing they need? Well, if they bought potato gun, the next thing they need is they need a potato gun kit. And that becomes my funnel. And that's kind of where we take people through. All right, I hope you love that tutorial about how I turned one of my hobbies into a sales funnel and turn it into money, and how you can do it as well. If you don't have a ClickFunnels account yet, go to iloveclickfunnels.com, get a free trial, along with a whole bunch of other really cool bonuses that you are gonna love. And on top of that, I want you to stay tuned because the next video is coming up here in about 5 seconds. I'm gonna walk you guys through 7 different sales funnel secrets to help increase the conversions and how much money you make on every one of your funnels. So with that said, let's watch the next video. Let's go.